Good evening and welcome to the monthly Board of Education meeting for Elizabeth City, Pasquotank Public Schools. ECPPS is a progressive public school district committed to reimagining education so that all students are given choices to discover and explore their hopes and dreams. And now to begin the meeting, Board of Education Chairperson Angela Cobb.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the July 27th, 2026 Board of Education meeting for Elizabeth City Pasquotank Public Schools. At this time, would everyone please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you, and you may be seated. We will begin our meeting this evening with Ms. Bundy and our roll call, please.
Angela Cobb.
Here.
Pam Pereza.
Here.
Valerie Bogue.
Here.
Angelique Boylan. Here. Tommy Old.
Here.
Sharon Warden.
Present.
Dr. Sheila Williams.
Present.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bundy. At this time, Mr. Old, would you please read our ethics awareness statement?
Welcome to the July 27th, 26th meeting of the Elizabeth City Pasquotank Board of Education. It's my duty to remind members of the board that it is your responsibility to avoid all conflicts of interest and potential conflicts of interest in accordance with Chapter 138A of North Carolina General Statutes. As public servants, it is your duty to continually monitor, evaluate, and manage your personal, financial, and professional affairs in such a way as to ensure the absence of conflicts or potential conflicts. Does any member know of any conflict of interest or potential conflict of interest with respect to any matter coming before the board today? If there are no conflicts, let the record reflect that no conflicts exist.
Thank you, Mr. Old. At this time, we need a motion to amend and approve the agenda to include the addition of the following items and to revise the order of items under new business. The items to be included include strategic plan as item A and the CES modular purchase as item F.
Second.
We have the motion and a second, a motion from Vice Chair Pereza, a second from Dr. Williams. Any discussion on the amending of the agenda this evening? If not, please signify a positive vote with a show of hands. Let the record reflect that vote is unanimous. Thank you, everyone. We have no one on the agenda this evening that has signed up for public comments, so we are going to move right into the superintendent's report with Dr. Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to share a couple of things this evening. The first thing I'd like to share is really excited to share that we, along with, I believe, 5 other North Carolina rural school districts, but also a group of districts from across the country, were just admitted into a 3-year grant that's funded by the Aspen Institute in Colorado. And this grant will allow us to learn from the districts that are a part of the Institute on how we can expand our International Baccalaureate program in our middle and high schools. And the focus of the Aspen grant is geared toward expanding social and economic mobility, and the research studies are connected toward the more advanced coursework young people have while in school, it leads to higher economic outcomes. And that is pretty straight, but there's some research around that, because the more you're challenged at a young age, then your entrance into college, into premier colleges, into programs, into credentials expands significantly. And so the work Aspen wants to do is to pilot some things around the country to see how expanding access to advanced coursework to AIG studies leads to increased economic mobility. And so our work with being a district that has committed to international baccalaureate at both of our middle and both of our traditional high schools made us a prime candidate to work in this study. So 3 years of that, and of course the Aspen Institute is globally known for its philanthropic work, being founded in the 1940s, I believe, and one of the nation's premier leading philanthropic institutes. So we're really excited to be a part of this. This was a big opportunity that sort of came our way. Next thing I want to share with the board is we're really excited that this Thursday, the 30th, we are going to be welcoming 8, I believe I'm looking at Simone here, 8 of our new international teachers that will be teaching in our Spanish dual language immersion program. Going to be arriving around 12:30. These teachers are currently right now in the United States. They're in Washington, D.C., at an institute that Participate Learning hosts to onboard and welcome teachers and to prepare them. Simona, along with Katina and our team and others, have been working to make sure these teachers have housing available to them on Thursday when they get here. A lot of our team has worked to make sure that they have furniture through donations. A lot of our community has come out and provided donations and support for teachers when they're ready to move in. So really excited to welcome them, and I do believe we have 6 teachers on the way. 8 total, okay. So really excited about that, and I'm going to be able to share on social media as sort of the welcome for these teachers as they get on board. We are, just share a couple quick updates. Our teachers come back on our first optional workday on August the 11th. And our first required day is that very next day, August 12th, which is going to also be our district convocation. And all of our young people come back for the first day of school, with the exception of the early college, on August the 24th. And so we are moving to the point where we're almost back at the start and the go live moment. So really excited about that. Our open houses will be on the week of August the 17th, and you can find those dates on our website or on our social media accounts. And you can also find all of our school supply list out there. I want to thank the team for working. We got this information out earlier in the summer, so it's available out there so the public can see that. Really excited about those things as they're there. And then the final thing I want to say is I want to say congratulations and welcome to all of our new school administrators, our district leaders, anybody that's in a new position. I just want to say congratulations. We have posted welcome messages and shared that information on our website as also on social media. And so I want to thank Terry Wilson for getting photos together. One of the things that we're beginning to do is onboarding when people move positions or they're hired to the district or go into a new position. We're having a professional headshot taken of the employee and sharing that as a way to just welcome folks. And so you'll be able to see all of these that are on our social media and website accounts. So excited about all of our leaders. We are fully staffed in our school administrative positions and district administrative positions, and we are moving toward singular digits on our teaching vacancies. So have done really, really well to get people in position. So we're at a really, really great place for start of year. Work continues. Our human resource department, along with principals, are continuing to hire and recruit for these last remaining teaching positions. And we have other positions that we have vacancies in that are in support staff and classified. But in terms of teaching positions, we're just in a really, really solid place at this time for the school year. So excited about those things, and we're going to enjoy these last remaining days of summer, and we're excited to see our young people get ready to come back. So looking forward to those things, and that concludes the comments, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Parker, for those comments. And also want to say thank you this evening to our key movers and shakers in the room. Sometimes summer work is harder, and we recognize that, and we appreciate you very, very much. And we just wanted to make sure that you knew it and everybody else did too. Next, we're going to move into the approval of our consent agenda for this evening. We need a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Okay, can I get a second? Thank you. Dr. Williams and Vice Chair Pereza. Do we have any discussion on the consent agenda? If not, please signify a positive vote with a show of hands for the consent agenda. Thank you, Tommy. Okay, please let the record reflect that vote was unanimous. And now we are going to move into, first we have items for information, and we're going to ask Ms. Haynes to come up and talk to us about Shaq's assessment.
Chair Cobb, Vice Chair, President, Board members, good evening. So I guess is this going to work? No? So we do have a presentation we wanted to share with you this evening about the annual update for the School Health Advisory Committee. And so I think Caroline hopefully is pulling that up. But just to get started, the purpose of the School Health Advisory Council is to help plan, update, implement, and promote and monitor ECPPS Policy Code 6140, student wellness, as well to address other health and nutrition needs and issues within the school system. So members of this committee include representatives from the Board of Education, principals, curriculum and instruction, exceptional children, student services, school nutrition, human resources, school nurses, school social workers, school counselors, student members, parents, the North Carolina Cooperative Extension, and community schools. And so it's recommended that the committee meet 3 to 4 times a year. However, this was a revitalization year for us, and so our SHAC committee met 4 times, once in November, twice in March, and then once in May, and spent a lot of time just working on developing and revising the 2025 to 2027 goals and strategies. And a copy of that has been talked through every one, but we did want to let you know that the goals are comprised of the following areas. So it focuses on comprehensive school health, physical education, school health services, safe and healthy school environment, school counseling, psychology and social services, school site health, promotion for staff, and then family and community involvement. So again, you have a copy. This copy will also be posted on the website after the presentation this evening. And though we don't want to go through every item on there, we do want to give a few highlights. And those highlights include, once again, we were able to host the Special Olympics at Northeastern High School. So we're excited about that. We had district field day. We have our elementary athletic lead, so basketball, which we expanded into soccer. J.C. Sawyer has Bike to School Day, which is kind of neat, and then Jump Rope for Heart at our elementary schools. We have various health screenings that are conducted throughout the year, dental, vision, and asthma blitz. We launched the telehealth clinic at Pasquotank County High School in partnership with Centera. We did have physical clinics with community schools and a flu shot clinic and other screenings for staff members at Ignite and some other events. So we have continued to build on our Farm to School program and continued with the ECP backpacks with Tammy Sawyer, which provides weekend meals for students. We have community school food pantries in some of our schools, and our summer feeding program. So we began in June this year, which allowed us to extend that for a couple of extra weeks into the summer, and the last pickup is this Thursday. So if you know any families, let them know that the pickup at the library will end this Thursday. And then we also like to highlight the Ministers' Council. They have been really collaborative in working with us, not only in meeting collective needs of our schools, but at times individual needs of students and families. So in addition to that, some of the areas that are either considered new or where we have expanded includes elementary athletics. This year we were able to add soccer. So we started with basketball and then added soccer this year. The telehealth clinic will be open for appointments at the Northside campus this fall. We have expanded, or community schools is planning to expand the food pantry to the district level. So we will have a district location for the food pantry. And then our school nutrition department is working with pre-K on nutrition education for pre-K students. And they have big plans to do a kitchen garden out here at the Pasquotank Learning Campus. And our student services have been working with counselors to develop and continue to build on the comprehensive school counseling program. We have a renewed focus on MTSS, and community schools in April did a Know Your Numbers health fair at Northeastern High School for not only our staff, but for the community at large. So as part of the wellness policy, we are also required to complete a triennial assessment. So as the name indicates, once every 3 years, we are to assess our policy, our comprehensive assessment of the local school wellness policy. This is also a requirement of the National School Lunch and Breakfast programs. This assessment that you have a copy of will be posted on the website after this meeting this evening, and we did our assessment using the Wellness School Assessment Tool, which is WellSat. It's a nationally recognized instrument, and it's located on the USDA's website. So just to talk a little bit about that overall, because you have a copy of the assessment, our policy and practices have strong alignment, and we do promote a healthy school environment. And our main area of needs that needs improving is just identifying school-level coordinators and champions to continue to expand the initiatives that are happening at the school level. So I just want to give a special thank you and a shout out to our council members who participated this year. I'd like to recognize Ms. Pam Pereza, who has been a champion of SHAC for many, many years and was very instrumental in helping get this kicked back off, and especially Midge Udema. She has retired this past year, but she was very instrumental in connecting the team with resources and just her overall historical knowledge. So once again, thank you to the committee, and we look forward to continuing to expand the initiatives. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Haynes, for sharing that initiative and that assessment report with us this evening.
Thank you.
And now we are going to move into our new business, and new business first on our list is item A is the strategic plan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And as we pull up the presentation here, I do want to introduce a partner of ours that's going to share some information on this work, which is Dr. Andrea Thomas Reynolds. And Dr. Reynolds is coming forward here, but I'll share a little bit of an introduction of Dr. Reynolds. So Dr. Reynolds is a partner of ours and has helped us on this work. She is a former superintendent and has worked with districts across the nation to design strategic plans, but also work in other initiatives. And one of the things that Dr. Reynolds brings to this work is she has really been embedded in school turnaround. And so shortly after Hurricane Katrina impacted New Orleans and Louisiana, Dr. Reynolds was a superintendent in New Orleans on the West Bank district there, and led, in conjunction with support from the Department of Education, led turnaround work, recovery, new school construction, really taking from the ashes and building back a school system in 2009 and beyond after Katrina had devastated the area. And so she's done the work, she's been on the ground, she's been in some of the harder circumstances you could probably imagine in that work. And so she's been a great thought partner to us as we really wanted to come and take our strategic plan to the next level. So she flew in this afternoon from New Orleans, drove directly from Norfolk and came right in, and has probably been with us in person, I would say, almost 10 times, I think, over the past year around that. So Dr. Reynolds, thank you for your commitment to us and helping us on this work. And where we are now is we approved in 2023 our 4 strategic plan priorities: reimagine education, talent development, expanding partnerships, and operational excellence. What we had yet to build were measurable outcomes with percentages, data points, and measurements. And so we wanted to come in and take those 4 priorities over the past year and build out a timeline to say, by this date, our goal is to have done this percentage of this thing. And then figure out a way to measure it. And we knew that to do that work right, we needed a thought partner, somebody who could come in and help us build that. And Dr. Reynolds with K-12 has done that. I do want to share that all of this work that Dr. Reynolds is going to share that we've done has been fully funded through our partnership with the Innovation Project. And so this has come at no cost to the school district. And I just wanted to emphasize this because one of our priorities is expanding partnerships. And that's something that we've made a point to do. I talked earlier about the Aspen Institute, a lot of the grants that we get, this work with TIP, who funded this work. And so our work has been to connect partners so we open our networks, and then we have new people that come in and work with us. And so that's been a big part of this work, and I just want to say, Dr. Reynolds, thank you for coming in, and I know you're going to share this evening a summary of some of the work that you've been able to do with this. So we're going to present to the board tonight the revised and updated measurements on the 4 priorities, and I'm going to ask Dr. Reynolds if you would to give us a summary here, and then the board will be taking action. So thank you for right off the plane coming right down here on from Norfolk. So thank you for that.
Only for you, Dr. Parker. Thank you, everyone. And I'm so excited to be here, and also to really bring together this hard work that the cabinet, administrators, and teachers have really come together to put together a plan that's really reflective of your community. And as Dr. Parker states, it really builds from the work that was already done, I think, beginning in 2023. So today we're just going to highlight a few things here. We're going to take a little bit on the strategic planning journey, tell you exactly how did we get to this point. We'll also outline the core values that the district will be using moving forward. Again, you all are familiar with the 4 priority areas, but we have some additional data, as Dr. Parker stated, in terms of benchmarks and goals that you want to achieve over the course of the next 5 years or through 2031, and how you'll be measuring that, and then some next steps that will be involved in that process. So the strategic plan, again, reflects several years of work, engagement, and refinement that you all have been doing. Again, the journey began in 2023 with community visioning, focus groups, student voice, employee engagement, and board visioning. And I think you even went to different places to really get that foundation. And so from that standpoint, this plan today really builds from that. From 2024 through 2026, the district really strengthened these areas. You brought in more community schools, aviation careers and technical education, dual enrollment, leadership development, and various strategic partnerships. And now in 2026, again, as Dr. Parker stated, while you had all of these pieces together and you've done a lot of work since then, not having a baseline from where you were to where you are now, while you were able to see growth, you probably did a whole lot more. So now it's just a point of baselining where you are right now and putting together a really trajectory of where you're trying to go over the next few years. During this process, though, I would say beginning maybe last fall up until the spring, we had an opportunity to engage in various focus groups. These were focus groups with your principals, other administrators, we had teachers. We also talked with your students at the elementary, middle, as well as the high school level, as well as operational staff and support staff that exist within the district. In addition, there was an opportunity for various community members to complete a survey. This was an anonymous survey, and through this survey, we heard from various community partners, as well as parents and other members of the team who were not a part of the focus group, but did make sure their points were reflected. Some of the things that we heard during this process is that they wanted more investing in recruiting, retaining, and supporting outstanding educators and effective leaders, modernizing some facilities to improve operational efficiency as well as student engagement, creating more safe and welcoming environments for the students. It's something the students also shared with that. And then ensuring that all students are prepared for college, career, military service, and just general life beyond, so that every student who comes into the district feels prepared for life once they graduate. This summary, again, reflects the dominant themes that appeared consistently across the stakeholder engagement. And one of the things also to note is that you didn't get a lot of deviations from this. Everyone felt that the 4 priority areas were consistent. There was nothing that needed to change from there. Each one of the groups of students in their own way described the same thing, which is they want a little bit more rigor. They want to be challenged a bit more, and they want to be more engaged in that process. But we did this through collaboration again, talking to students, staff, school leaders, community partners, and again, those surveys. Now, we know the district's vision is to reimagine education so that every learner is academically challenged and prepared for life. And that vision really serves as the foundation for this process. From there, and you'll see in the final version of the strategic plan, we have different contents that will walk through each one of these priority areas. And so tonight, I'm going to walk us through at a high level what we're talking about relative to this plan, and ultimately how that ties back into the North Carolina portrait of a graduate, which is what you want your students, when they finish here, to also meet those standards and qualifications. So just looking back again at the core values for a moment, these were the core values that the team highlighted as something important for them that we wanted to exemplify for the students. We want the district and the students to know that everything is being centered around them. That means placing every learner's at the heart of every decision-making and ensuring that each student is challenged and supported. Being innovative and willingness to take on new ideas and challenge traditional thinking so that you're maintaining that creative solution and creative buy-in from the students to expand their opportunities. The importance of relationships, and so that students can see that they're not only cared for within their school but across their district, and there's an important adult that they can resonate with, and they have that sense of respect and belonging and validity. The opportunity, meaning that what exists in one school exists in the other school, and that students have an opportunity to engage in those same types of activities and or pathways. You also wanted to focus on integrity, requiring honesty, accountability, and transparency so that you're building that stewardship that you would like to see in students and in your graduates. And then finally, going back to the heart of what this district really builds upon is community, reinforcing that what you do is collected through authentic engagement of other partnerships. You may not be able to do everything, but you're able to partner with people to give those experiences to your students. And so that's something that you want your students to understand as well.
And Doctor, I'll clarify one thing I forgot to mention. We gave the board tonight a handout, and the handout is the full components of the plan, and what you'll see on the screen here is in a draft version of the graphic design. So we've got some editing to do on some of the photos and kind of what the design looks like, but this is giving the board a sense of when we get to the finish line on the design, we'll have a printed 15, 20-page document that's professionally designed that we'll have access to, along with some one-page documents that are viewing the plan at a glance. And we're also working with Dr. Reynolds and her team to get some mailers, some postcards, and some other things that we can send out as a way to do this. So that, what you see on the screen is in progress. It's not finalized, but the board's handout in the text here tonight is a copy of what we're asking you to approve. And you'll notice that the commitments, the measurement of success, and what it'll look like by 2031, those are new components that we've added. So just want to clarify those two pieces.
Okay, and so thank you, Dr. Parker. So I think we all are familiar with the 4 priorities: reimagining education, talent, recruitment, retention, and development, expanding partnerships, and also operational excellence. And then, as Dr. Parker stated, this is sort of what each one of the pages will look like starting off. But we wanted to, is just exactly as he stated, give you some context of what each priority is, but more importantly, really show where you're aiming for 2031. So in terms of reimagining education, some of the specific goals that you're looking to obtain is the headline targets are to include a 10-point increase in reading proficiency, a 10-point increase in mathematics proficiency, a 4-year graduation rate of at least 95%, and an average daily attendance of 95%. So within this particular priority area, the district will work on strengthening consistent, rigorous learning by ensuring standards-aligned instruction and clearer district-wide expectations. And so once you have the expectations are clear and we understand what we're doing from an implementation point, then you're able to see some consistencies take place from school to school, and it's not just hot spots or bright spots in some places, but it's a means by which you're able to build on that capacity for all. The district will create connected pathways from kindergarten through grade 12, including dual language immersion, global leaders, the IB program, again, aviation career technical assistance, as well as dual enrollment. And then finally, every learner must be known and supported with opportunities for voice, choice, leadership, and real-world application. Again, what they're learning from the district, they're able to turn that around once they complete once they graduate from school here. The next is in the area of talent recruitment, retention, and development. This recognizes the fundamental truth that a district cannot achieve its goals without having exceptional educators and effective educators and leaders. So this priority focuses on recruiting, supporting, and retaining your staff. The district is working hard towards completing the employee journey. And I think some of the things that were noted with this particular priority is that while you do a lot with recruiting new people into your district, it's important to understand too that you have folks who may have been here for 7, 10, 15 years. They're not in the new group anymore, but they also are not ready to leave, making sure you want to keep them. So paying attention to them as well was some of the voices that came through. The district also intends to strengthen its workplace culture by emphasizing professional trust, collaboration, and recognition, belonging, and employee voice. So getting that feedback, and I think through this process, the team did a very effective job at opening that up to the team. Some key commitments include expanding leadership pathways, strengthening retention and well-being, and providing coaching and mentoring for your team. Now, by 2031, the district aims to achieve teacher retention that's at least 90%, overall employee retention of at least 90%, and fill 95% of school-based positions by the first day of school. The goal also, too, by 2031 is to retain at least 85% of beginning teachers for 3 years. And that's important, too, because you invest so much in the new teachers when they come on board. You don't want to see that talent leave. So how do you keep that, maintain that, and really pull them into, and these measures will help the district determine whether employees are being recruited successfully, supported effectively, and encouraged to build long-term careers within the district. Our next priority area is expanding partnerships. Student success is a shared responsibility, and this priority focuses on harnessing the knowledge, resources, opportunities, and relationships that are available throughout the community. The district really wants parents to be engaged as authentic partners with accessible and proactive two-way communication, and this was something that came about from each one of the stakeholder groups and wanting more of that. Schools will increasingly serve as community hubs, coordinating academic, health, wellness, enrichment, and other family supports. And these relationships can create internships and other opportunities by exposing students to various careers at an early age and getting them on that pipeline for that. The plan also includes expanding the full-service community school model beyond the current 3 schools and strengthening strategic and community relationships. So by 2031, all 12 schools are expected to operate within a full-service community school model. The district also is targeting a successful connection to appropriate support for at least 90% of identified needs and a 50% increase in family participation rates and shared leadership, and at least 90% of families knowing how to access these opportunities. And so this will be over the course of the next few years in building up that capacity. So it's not about having the partnerships, but it's really about are we taking advantage of those partnerships for the meeting for the students and building that strong relationship with your community. And then finally, operational excellence, again, focusing on providing safe, efficient, equitable, and reliable systems that are needed to carry the district through. This priority includes facilities and capital planning, transportation, child nutrition, technology, as well as data systems. It will also build more proactive and future-ready systems through preventive maintenance, emergency preparedness, long-term facility planning, and secure technology. By 2031, the district aims to complete at least 90% of preventive maintenance on schedule, Have at least 95% of students and staff report feeling safe at school. Maintain 99% of technology systems as uptime so that it's working properly, and have at least 90% of the bus routes arrive within the established or on-time standard. These targets create operational effectiveness, and in turn, by having operational effectiveness, you're also contributing into the well-being of students and the classroom experience that they're having. And then finally, the portrait of a graduate. These are the competencies that North Carolina requires of all students, or states that by the end of high school, all students will have. And so we thought it would be appropriate to pull this into the strategic plan as well, so that parents can also see the trajectory for what will be expected of their students. And the competencies include adaptability, collaboration, communication, critical thinking, empathy, a learner's mindset, and then, of course, personal responsibilities. Again, these represent the competencies that cut across all 4 of your priority areas that you'll like to see for your students. And with that, I think I'm going to open it up for questions. Or Dr. Parker, is there anything I didn't add?
No, very thorough, Dr. Reynolds. Thank you for breaking that down in your work to help us get to this point. Just share 2 quick things, and would love to hear from the board on any thoughts or questions or comments. We worked together as a team with Dr. Reynolds, and based on comparing ourselves to the state averages, comparing ourselves to 2022, which was the real first post-COVID year, we came back to measurements on some things and wanted to look to see where we've come, but also push ourselves to 2031. For example, since 2022, across the district in reading, and that's averaging grades 3 through 12 in reading assessments, we've increased about on reading, and that's in 4 years. So that 10-point mark by 2031 over 5 years will actually be a lot harder to get, because we would then be moving essentially C students to become B and A students, and that's harder to do than moving an F student to be a C student. So we wanted to push ourselves on the metrics, but also have attainable metrics that are within reach. The example in the graduation rate, we were at in the lower 70s on the 4-year cohort graduation rate in 2022. We've moved that up to about 84% on 4 years. In 4 years, we're going to have to rock and roll. That's an one that will push us. You think about that, that means 9 out of 10 students. Correct. That will push us. You know, we want to be uncomfortable. We want to have a goal that's bigger than what we can see, because then that pushes you to work harder. But we also into this, 90% exceeds 90% retention. That's going to push us. We're in the 80s now typically on retention, but I believe we can get there through the work that our team's doing on the pathway programs, the incentives, and other things. So you'll see that these measurements are ambitious. They are things that we will have to work very hard on over 5 years to achieve, but that's what we want goals to be. We want goals to push us, and so we work to get those. Last thing I'll share is we are working right now, Heather, Simona, Nina, different ones on the team, Kelly, are working to help us get a data, I suppose, dashboard, where we can take every measurement that's in this plan and have a publicly accessible dashboard where administrators, board, the public can view to track our measurement toward these goals over 5 years. It's possible. One example, we've recently seen Simona, Nina, and myself in some work we're doing with Virginia Commonwealth University. We've seen that Alexandria Public Schools has one of these data dashboards for their strategic plan, and every school in Alexandria. And a parent can log on to the data dashboard, and they can see how the school's improved in reading. They can see how they're doing on retention, and you're just able to see the metrics. So we don't want these metrics to be something that we don't talk about again till 2030. We want to, in an immediately accessible way, have the public and everybody view how we're doing. And that's possible. It's actually easier than you would think with some of these emerging technologies. So our team is working with VCU, and our hope is in the coming months, by first part of this school year, we're able to launch a data dashboard that allows public tracking of some of these measurements to help us stay accountable and for the public to know the progress we're making. So I think that's going to be a very nice complement to the work that Dr. Reynolds has helped us do to get here. And then we can, as Dr. Reynolds said, we probably done more than we even realized, but because we didn't have a baseline measurement in 23, we don't necessarily have that for some of these. But moving forward, I think this is going to be extremely helpful. So having said that, would love to hear from the board on any comments or questions.
Okay, so with that being said, this evening, we need to move to approve the strategic plan. So I would like to request a motion to approve the strategic plan as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the plan as submitted.
Okay,
I second
all right. We have a motion by Mr. Old and a second by Ms. Boland. Any other questions, discussion points this evening about the plan? All righty, then if we could have a positive vote with a show of hands to approve this plan. Let the record reflect that is unanimous. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you. It's been a
Thank you, Dr.
pleasure.
Reynolds. Thank you.
Next on our agenda, we're going to hear from Terry Wilson and the beginning teacher support plan.
I'd like to say thank you, Dr. Reynolds, for the BT plug. The BT program is so important. Hello, Board Chair Cobb, Vice Chair Pereza, board members, Dr. Parker, and guests. I'm here today to provide updates about our state-required beginning teacher support program plan. The plan is written and implemented by districts to ensure that the necessary supports and resources are provided to beginning teachers in alignment with the North Carolina State Board Policy TCED 016. Periodically, we've come before you to update the plan to ensure its continued alignment with state guidelines, which is why we're here today. The two required adjustments to our district's plans are things we've already put into action in prior years, but with new guidance must update within our written plan. I know you all have a copy in your packet, but I'm just briefly going to cover the two adjustments to the plan. First, in section B, which is on the second page of the plan, under induction requirements for beginning teachers, the wording was adjusted to say, teachers with fewer than 3 years of experience, regardless of licensure type and licensure pathway, example, temporary license, residency license, and initial professional license, are required to participate in the North Carolina Beginning Teacher Support Program for 3 years. The change here was just the phrasing, regardless of licensure type. In the past, some districts have not included teachers with emergency license or other alternative license in their BT program. We always have, because we know that regardless of their pathway, beginning teachers are going to need support. But that's just something that the state required everybody to add because some districts were not including them. The next adjustment to the plan comes later towards the end on page 8, and it's section Q called State Data Collection. Wording was just added regarding the annual State of the Teaching Profession report, and there's a corresponding recent graduate survey that is required to be completed. So the section just states that first-year beginning teachers who completed an educator preparation program and their principal will both complete the recent graduate survey administered by North Carolina DPI. So DPI sends the survey out. Our HR staff usually gets that and then just helps coordinate to make sure that the teachers and principals that are on the list have completed the survey. They get some reminders, so we've already been doing that. We just adjusted the wording in the plan to match what the state recommended. So those are the two major adjustments. There were some grammatical fixes and some formatting stuff that we went through, but are there any questions about the actual adjustments made? Okay. Then we would like to request that this plan be approved by the board. Thank you.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve the beginning teacher support plan as presented.
I so move that we approve this plan as submitted.
Okay, we have a motion. Can I get a second? Okay. Any further questions for Ms. Wilson concerning this plan? All right, if not, please signify a positive vote to approve this plan with a show of hands. Let the record reflect that that is unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have item C and Ms. Reinhardt with some bid renewals.
Good evening, Madam Chair Cobb, Board, and Dr. Parker. I'm here tonight to ask you for your approval to submit a renewal letter to Cisco Hampton Roads for our Lot 1, which is our groceries, Lot 3, which is our supplies, and Lot 4, which is produce. This is a third-year renewal. That would be with the Northeastern Co-op. Again, we're one of 13 counties. It's just over 5.2 million in groceries. It's almost 700,000 in supplies and 700,000 in produce. We're also asking you to approve the renewal of our third-year contract with Mayola Milk.
All righty, so we need motion to approve the bid renewals for the 26-27 school year as presented.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
So we have a motion by Vice Chair Perez, a second by Ms. Warden. Any further questions for Ms. Reinhardt? Okay, if not, please signify your positive vote with a show of hands. Let the record reflect that that is unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Reinhardt.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is item D, which is EC contracts, and Ms. Tamarelli.
Good evening, Board Chair Cobb, Vice Chair Pereza, Board, and Dr. Parker. Tonight in your packet, there are 4 contracts for the Exceptional Children Department. The first one is for a personal care assistant for one of our students who requires a one-on-one. This is a carryover from last year where we contracted in the spring, and the team felt that it would be detrimental to the student's success to change out the student's one-to-one. The second contract in the packet is for nursing services. We have a student who is returning from homebound services. He's going into the 3rd grade, has been on homebound since pre-K, and we want to ensure that his nursing services are in place for the first day of school. There's a contract for a speech therapist, which would fill our last vacancy for speech therapists to have all in-person speech services for the upcoming school year. And then the last contract is for teacher assistants. Unfortunately, we have had difficulty finding teacher assistants, and there are 4 vacant teacher assistant positions in our most vulnerable classrooms, the self-contained classrooms. And we would like to have a contract in place in the event that we're not to fill the positions so that the classrooms could have staff on the first day of school.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tamarelli. We need a motion to approve the EC contracts as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve them as presented.
Can I get a second? Okay. Any further questions for Ms. Tamarelli concerning these contracts?
No question, but I want to thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go to the thank you there. We were speaking throughout the point of the day and different things about the work that's been done on EC staffing and filling vacancies, and that's largely due to Ms. Tamarelli, your work with your team, along with HR, our principals, and a lot of different ones that have worked on that. So a lot of progress there. This was shared at the last meeting, but we're really excited that this coming year we'll be able to offer face-to-face speech. So a lot of good things happening here, so moving in the right direction. Want to thank you and the team for the hard work.
You're welcome.
All righty, if there are no other questions for Ms. Tamarelli, can you please signify a positive vote with a show of hands? Okay, let the record reflect that that is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Ms. Jordan. Ms. Jordan, we have you up a lot coming up. I'm not going to, you just roll with it. There we go.
Good evening, Chairperson Cobbs, Vice Chair Pereza, board members. This evening, we do have quite a few items that we're trying to get completed so that we can kick off our new school year. And the first item is we're planning to demo approximately 24 mobiles that are at various locations throughout the city and county. So included in your packet was the quotes that we received for the demo of those mobiles. And since we have an extensive cost with the demo of these 24 mobiles, we are seeking board approval tonight to proceed with that quote and a demo of those properties.
Okay. So having had the chance in your packets to review that, we need a motion to approve the modular demo as presented.
I so move.
Okay, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Warden. So we have a motion by Ms. Boland, a second by Ms. Warden. Any further questions considering this motion with Ms. Jordan? Okay, if not, please signify a vote of acceptance for this motion with a show of hands. Let the record reflect that is unanimous.
I want to say, Ms. Jordan, thank you for all your work on this. And, you know, there's some members on the board here that likely taught in some of those modulars or worked in them. And, you know, some of the board members may have even went to school in one of them. I don't know. I'm looking at Pam. Possibly. But, you know, it's been a lot harder than one would imagine to demo these. And because some of them are in some bad shape, it's actually harder to move them and demo them because they won't go on a road. And so Wilma's been working on this for several months here, but what the public and our staff could expect is across the district where you've seen these modulars, in a short amount of time, they won't be there anymore. And so I think this is going to add to the curb appeal of many of our facilities, and so I want to thank you, Wilma, for the work there to get us to this point. It's you know, sometimes things seem easier than they actually turn out to be, and this has been a very difficult project, quite frankly, to get rid of these modulars. So thank you for your work on that.
And I would like to be there to see them go down.
Once we have a schedule, I'll send it to you.
What is that? They have the axe throwing or the demo thing downtown. Maybe we do something like that, Sharon, where we kind of take it down. Yeah.
Okay, the item that was added to the agenda was the Central Elementary School mobile. And we have experienced a situation where we're going to be changing vendors, and we're going to be going with mobile modular. The cost for this is going to be significantly less than the previous quote. So we seek approval to proceed into a contract to have mobile modular provide us with that mobile classroom for 3 years. And that's, I think that information is included in your packet as well.
Okay, so what we're discussing now is item F, and that is the CES modular purchase. So with that being said, we need a motion to approve the CES modular purchase as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve it as presented.
Okay, can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further questions concerning this motion? If not, please signify a positive vote with a show of hands. And that vote is unanimous. And now we'll move on to item G, which is the hood suppression system.
For approximately the last 9 months, we've been working with our fire marshals and our inspector for the school district to take a look at the hood systems for the cafeterias. We have a significant amount of work that we're going to have to do at all of the schools. But we met a couple of weeks ago and we set a priority for which schools we wanted to start with to get the certification in place for the operation of those hood systems. So tonight we're going to request if we could get permission to proceed with River Road hood system, Weeksville Elementary, and Pasquotank Learning Center. And we want to get that kitchen recertified and operational so that when our pre-K has relocated and our micro school is here, we can feed them at this facility.
Okay. All right, so we are looking at a motion now to approve the hood suppression system repairs as presented with a focus with beginning on River Road, Weeksville, and the Pasquotank Learning Center. Can I get a motion for
I
that?
make a motion to approve as presented.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Perezza. A second? Thank you, Ms. Bogues. Any further questions about this item for Ms. Jordan? Okay, if not, please signify your positive vote. Let the record reflect that that is unanimous. And now we will move on to item H, the change order for the PCHS track resurfacing.
When we had the vendor to mobilize to Pasquotank High School to start resurfacing the track, Sutherland Seal Coating, in conjunction with our athletic department, has determined that the high jump area needed to be replaced rather than repaired, and that's going to amount to a change order of an additional $15,000 for that budget. It is an amount that is available for the predetermined budget for the project. So we're seeking approval that we go ahead and do a change order for that.
Okay? So, and let me make sure there is no additional money being spent on this. It's already allocated.
It's already allocated.
Okay. All right, so we need a motion to approve the change order for the PCHS track resurfacing as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve it as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Old. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Warden. Any other questions for Ms. Jordan? All right, please signify a positive vote with a show of hands for this motion. Let the record reflect that that is unanimous. And now we are going to move on to item I, which is PCHS painting.
We've received quotes to paint Pasquotank County High School. That facility is 26 years old. It has never been painted, but it has been very well cared for. So therefore, we're asking to start the contract to proceed with painting Pasquotank High School.
Okay. So we need a motion to approve the PCHS painting contract as presented.
I so move.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Boland. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, got Mr. Old there. Any questions about the PCHS painting contract?
Yes.
Okay. If there are no other questions, please signify a positive vote with a show of hands. And that is unanimous. And then we will move to item J, the Sheep Harney chiller.
In the last month, we've found that the chiller for the sheep side of Sheep Harney Elementary School is failing. We've located one already built in Texas, and we'd like approval this evening from the information included in your pack to purchase and install that new chiller before the school year begins.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. I can understand that urgency. So we need a motion to approve the Sheep Harney chiller as presented.
That's a brand-new chiller, right?
The present one in place is 24 years old. It has the old refrigerant in it. So rather than an expensive repair, we made the determination to replace it would be cheaper to replace one with a new refrigerant in it will be cheaper. So that's the recommendation.
But the new one is brand new. It's not,
It is.
Yeah, it's not refurbished.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
That's what I was asking.
I'm sorry.
All right. Do we have a motion for this?
I move that we approve the chiller purchase as presented.
All right. In a second. Ms. Bogues is who I heard first. Other questions for Ms. Jordan? Okay, can we have a positive vote with a show of hands? Let the record reflect that that is unanimous. Ms. Jordan, thank you so much for all you and your team are doing for our school district. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and I want to thank also the Pasquotank County Commissioners. As you heard tonight, these are some big projects. We are moving projects at a really fast rate. Wilma and her team have worked to be able to manage the frequency of these projects, and none of it will be possible without the funding support from the county commissioners. And because we're moving so fast on these projects, the commissioners have increased the funding for our capital projects, and this year in the approved budget that you approved and then the commissioner approved, they allocated around $3.5 million for capital work. And so that's a big investment. And so I just want to, publicly acknowledge the support from the commissioners and thank the board for your urgency to move on these approvals so that we can get some things like chillers replaced, which is urgent before staff come back. So a lot of work to be done, a lot of work over time, but we're moving fast, and I appreciate the work that goes in to make these projects move like this. So thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda is going to be item K, and that is quotes for radios, and that will be with Ms. Hill.
Good evening, Chair Cobb, Vice Chair Pereza, board members, and all of our guests, Dr. Parker. I come to you as I did a project over the summer demoing 2 different types of radios outside of the type we already have, and we have discovered that over cellular is the better way to go versus having the bus repeaters like we used to have, and we need to update our equipment because we cannot get parts anymore. So I was tasked with trying to figure out which was going to be the best. The company that I actually would like to go with is Radio Communications Company. Hytera is actually the name of the radios, and this would be replacing everything in the school buses as well as all the handhelds within the school, and having a few extras on hand in case something, of course, breaks in the interim before we can get something back. This quote also includes the purchase of all that, plus the first year of cellular service. So that will be something we'd have to recur every year, but to get us started, this is the proposal is actually for $180,836.90 plus tax, and that's the purchase, of course, and then the first year. These radios are amazing. We went as far as Deep Weeksville, all the way to the water, and they worked as if you're sitting next to me right now. When I was talking to the lady with the company, she was all the way in Statesville, North Carolina, and I was able to hear her here. So that's an amazing thing, and plus with this, we will be able to actually put them on our activity buses now as a safety precaution for when they're out in groups and something happens and they need to get a hold of another driver or even radio all the way back here. So that's definitely a positive because it goes through cellular versus the repeaters. So I ask tonight that we move forward.
Thank you, Ms. Hill. So we need a motion to approve the quotes for the radios as presented.
I make a motion to approve as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Old. Can I have a second? Thank you, Vice Chair Pereza. Any other questions for Ms. Hill? If not, please signify a positive vote with a show of hands. That is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Next up is item L, and that is the scanning documents project with Ms. Edmonston.
Good evening, Chair Cobb, Vice Chair Pereza, board members, Dr. Parker, community and guest. Tonight, I'm choking up already. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. Tonight, I'm bringing forward a request for approval of a document scanning project. It is focused on the maintenance and preservation of our student educational records. This aligns with the North Carolina Statute 115C-402, which requires us to permanently maintain official student records. Currently, we have many inactive files that are in paper format, which make them very difficult to store long-term. Some of them date back to historical times, like 1932, slower to access when they're needed, when people request these records. They're also very vulnerable to damage or loss. Digitizing these records protects us from deterioration or disaster. It improves the speed and ease for access from the staff, and it strengthens our overall records management along with maintaining confidentiality and FERPA protections. Tonight, I come to you to request approval for us to move forward with a contract with SC View, which is a company that specializes in document maintenance, scanning, securing it, and digitizing those student records. We will begin this process at Pasquotank Elementary School, now known as Pasquotank Learning Center, and then we will progress to other locations throughout the district until we have all of our inactive files digitized.
Okay. So we need a...
the central office too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Eventually, we will go to every location because anything that is inactive needs to be digitized.
So what happens with the paper copy?
So because North Carolina law currently requires us to maintain a hard copy of that, the cost of the contract actually pays for contain their access. They are digitized, they are indexed so that we know what's where and when, and we can have access to that at any point in time.
So they store them.
They store them.
Okay. Can we have a motion to approve the scanning document project as presented? Okay, Dr. Williams, and do we have a second? All right, any other questions or comments for Ms. Evanston? All right, can you signify a positive vote with a show of hands, please? Let the record reflect that that is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then finally, up tonight for our last two items, we have Ms. Haynes.
Good evening. Dr. Stutz has been doing some work with our new middle school principals for the month of July to help with onboarding and assisting them in transitioning into their new roles. And this evening, we would like to request to continue working with her with this school year, beginning from August through June, to provide middle school intensive support, leadership coaching, and then to help align policies and practices and procedures between both middle schools.
Okay. So we need a motion to approve the Hunley-Stooks consulting contract as presented.
I so move.
Okay, can we have a second, please? Any other questions for Ms. Haynes considering this motion? If not, please signify a positive vote with a show of hands. Let the record reflect that that is unanimous. And then our final item, item N, is spring policy updates.
And so the last item is for first read. These are the spring policy updates. Brief description of those updates include for ECPPS Policy Code 1310 and 4002 parental involvement. It adds a reference in subsection B1 to the requirements described in Policy 3510, religious-based exemptions from school programs, and updates cross-references, and then adds the link to community resources, which is required. Policy Code 1510, 4200, 7270, school safety, clarifies the principal's responsibility for inspecting buildings and reporting any safety or unsanitary concerns. Policy Code 2330, board agenda meeting, clarifies the process for requesting an item be placed on the board meeting agenda. Policy Code 3225, 4312, 7320, technology responsible use. The Federal Commission, the FCC, rescinded the E-rate Wi-Fi hotspot services rules that was adopted in 2024, and it has been determined the E-rate funding cannot be used for hotspots any longer. Policy Code 3430, School Improvement Plan, streamlines the development of the school improvement alignment with NC STAR, aligning it with NC STAR. Policy Code 4318, use of wireless communication devices, adds language in Section B around student recordings. And Policy Code 4342, student searches, clarifies language in subsection A5 to state metal detectors may be used. Policy Code 5071, 7351, electronically stored information retention, changes the system to platform as it relates to email. Currently it says email system. This changes it to say email platform, and then updates legal references and other sources. Policy Code 6220, operation of school nutrition services. Those updates are mainly centered around unpaid meal charges, which currently we serve under CEP. However, the updates are legal requirements, so therefore we are requesting that we approve those revisions. And then Policy Code 7130 for licensure clarifies who is responsible for reporting misconduct and when misconduct should be reported. And then it updates the legal references to the expanded policies that were recently changed. And then the last three are legal references and cross-reference updates only, and that's Policy Code 3565, 8307, Title I, Program Comparability of Services, Policy Code 4001, Equal Educational Opportunities, and Policy Code 7530, Military Leave. Again, those are just for first read.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That is the first read only, so we will act on those in the August meeting. And with that being said, we are at the time where we need a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Okay, and can I have a second? Thank you. Any further questions, discussion? If not, please signify a positive vote to adjourn. And the vote is unanimous, and we are adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.
And we are going to invite anybody here that would like to. We're going to offer a quick 10-minute tour of the renovated pre-K center, which has the completed renovations. So if you would like to, with me and Wilma, do that really quickly, meet us at this side door in 3 minutes, and I will